Alright guys, first of all I'm going to kind of walk you through the progression of brew kettles that I've made throughout the years. The first one I made was a pretty fun job, but I used a jigsaw and tried to trace the outline along the edge. At one point the angle got way off and cut a big divot into it. So I kind of had to overcorrect and come back. One positive thing, it did leave a little spout for pouring out. It's a little easier, kind of has a more controlled pour. But other than that, I'd recommend trying to get a perfect circle. Some of the hardware that we've used is a thermometer and a filter on the back. That's an old appliance hose. Cut out the silicone tube, left the braided metal wire, and that basically acts as a pretty fine filter. Not great for brew kettles. If you have hops in there, that'll get clogged really easily. So the second one we did was a little bit more informed, and we used an angle grinder, cut the hole out using the same thing, the guide. Gave us a pretty perfect circle, depending on the condition of your outer ring, obviously. But we decided to use a bazooka tube. This was more focused as our brew kettle. We eventually turned this into our hot liquor tank. The importance of having a thermometer on a hot liquor tank is to be able to know what temperature your water you're using to mash. The thermometer or the temperature on your brew kettle itself for brewing the actual beer is not as important, because you basically reach boil and then you start your timer from there, and at no point really do you need to know the temperature, I guess, as you're cooling, but we use the temperature gun for that. And yeah, so we keep the brew kettle pretty simple. We added a bazooka tube on the back. Acts as a fine filter even with the hops. You're going to get a little bit of particles, but that'll settle out in the fermentation. Third version, we decided to use the smallest guard, so we have a bigger opening. It's kind of nice. You can use the cutout as a lid also while you're brewing. It helps bring it up to boil a little bit quicker. Like I said, we placed the nozzle in the front. Same thing, bazooka tube, and yeah. Alright guys, number one, safety. You want to make sure you're well protected. We're cutting stainless steel. It's going to be loud, it's going to be dangerous, a lot of moving parts. You want a nice sturdy pair of gloves for one. Eye protection, protect your ojos. So respirator to protect from any small particles entering your lungs. Eye for hearing protection, got the twist-in earplugs. And then also the ear muffs, double insulated. Yeah. Also, you notice the long sleeve. You're going to get metal shavings. So a couple hammers if we need to hammer out anything on the keg. When we're drilling the holes for the nozzles, you want that to be relatively flat. There's going to be a gasket that fits up behind it. You want a nice flush seal. First one kind of ran into that. Drilled the hole. It fit, not tightly, had a leak. Had to take everything apart, hammer it down, make sure it was nice and flush. Eventually got the leak fixed. File, take down any of the hasps on the edges. You just want to clean that up. You don't want to be worry about cutting your arm trying to clean it. We got a drill for that, and then also one of these stepped, basically hole borers, and lets you get the diameter pretty accurate. We've got two just in case. And then the angle grinder. This guy, that's what'll cut stainless steel. We use the guide to basically line up on the edge, get that nice circle going all the way around. You want to keep it relatively plumb. That's how you get your line crooked. So the old gauge that we used the first time was a little bit wider, provide a little bit more protection. It was a little bit easier, but like I said, I kind of like the bigger hole, so we'll go with the small gauge. We'll go with the small guard. All right, that's it. All right, so using a used keg, there's a couple things you want to do first and foremost. You want to bleed off the pressure. You want to remove this ring, pull out the down stem, rinse it out. I give it a mild rinse. It's going to get dirty again anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. One thing I like to do is put the down stem back in there and seal it back up. That way, while you're cutting, the lid doesn't fall all the way through, and kind of gives you a cleaner cut. guys, so that was our build day. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and stay curious.